There are so many scenes in The Office that were never really in the script, but some of them take the cake for being the most iconic in TV history. This scene probably is the highlight of season 3, as Phyllis is flashed by a random guy in the parking lot, and everyone is trying to comfort her. Michael takes a different approach in this situation and does this.
He's back! Okay.
And no, it wasn't scripted at all, and that's what made everyone on the set laugh out loud too. Even John Krasinski got really red and was trying his best not to break character while Steve Carell was coming up with the most hilarious scene on the spot. Another impromptu scene on the show was in the gay witch hunt episode, where Michael tells everyone that Oscar is gay, and it makes things really awkward for him. Michael then tries to tell everyone that he doesn't have a problem with Oscar being gay, and things take a pretty hilarious detour. To make things worse, Michael goes on to do something unbelievable. This kiss wasn't in the original script, and the scene was meant to end with Michael hugging Oscar, but Carell knew what was missing. That's why Michael's unplanned kiss with Oscar happened. And the reactions of the whole cast were genuine, as they didn't know either that a kiss was about to be shown. When it comes to unscripted scenes, Rainn Wilson, playing Dwight on the show, is great at it as well. He once created a whole list of fake diseases on the spot and made everyone crack up with his list. Here's how it went down.
Flesh-eating bacteria. Hot dog fingers. Government-created killer nanorobot infection.
And as everyone in the room knows that there's nothing on that list and Rainn is just making this all up, they struggle to control their laugh, and at one instance even break their character and giggle a bit before composing themselves again. On the list of unscripted moments, Michael's tour of New York stays on top. By that time, Steve Carell was kind of a big deal, and he used to get recognized everywhere with the paparazzi and fans coming over for pictures and autographs. So he knew he won't be able to walk on the streets of NYC carelessly. So most of his tour was unscripted, and he was just rushing through the streets and saying stuff that was coming to his mind. One particular instance gets really funny when Steve runs from the crowd.
Everybody takes a subway in New York. It's fast, it's efficient, gets you there on time. It's a way to... Okay, here's a guy pooping in a cardboard box down there.
It was also something he did on the spot, and it wasn't in the script. In reality, Steve just wanted to complete the scene and avoid the crowds. In another scene, Dwight is trying to find out who smoked pot, and he becomes a self-proclaimed investigator of the case. Things end up getting messy, with Dwight saying,
"My father's name was Dwight Schrute. My grandfather's name was Dwight Schrute. His father's name, Dwight Schrute. Amish."
From this episode onwards, Dwight was officially Amish, and all the traditions, the farming stuff and his Amish background, came after he accidentally said that he was Amish in the scene. Also, Dwight never missed a chance to be hilarious and relatable, especially when he cornered Toby in one scene. Toby came to the office because Michael was getting a lot of complaints about the office staff, and he wanted to discipline them. But Dwight had something else in mind when he asked Toby,
"You said that we could come to you if we had any questions.
Sure.
Where's the clitoris?"
This wasn't in the script, and Dwight just came up with all of those female anatomy questions, which made everyone laugh so hard that they decided to keep it in the final cut. The scene where Jan is making the devil horn impression is also unscripted.
Smudges! And I moved in and I cleaned it, so I guess that makes me the devil.
You are! She is! She is the devil! I'm in hell! I'm burning! Help me!
Not only did the actress do the devil horns just to make the scene more hilarious, but she also ended up making Michael crack up. And he actually broke the character, which didn't happen very often for Steve on the show. In a scene where Michael is leaving, Steve broke his character once more. The whole office prepared a farewell for him, which was so good that he could hardly believe himself. But this farewell actually was for Steve, and he didn't know about it until the scene was shot, and he ended up getting emotional.
Yeah, okay. Well, this is gonna hurt like a mother...
He even cried a little in the scene, and this wasn't in the script. These were just real emotions of Steve that the creators decided to keep in the show, and it only made things better. In one of the scenes, Ryan wants to learn how to do sales, and Dwight decides to help him, so he takes poor Ryan to his beet farm. The only thing is that Dwight doesn't really make him do any real work, and continues to give him odd jobs. Dwight even gives Ryan the duty to plant seeds in the ground, and says,
And just as you have planted your seed in the ground, I am going to plant my seed in you.
This line wasn't written in the script, and Dwight improvised on the spot to make the scene more entertaining, and it did end up great. Another heartbreaking scene for Dwight, but a hilarious one for the audience, is when Dwight is constantly bouncing up and down on his fitness ball. And he does it in a very provocative way, so Jim can't really concentrate on work. See what Jim does next.
Wow. Okay.
Although Jim popping the fitness ball was scripted, the ball wasn't supposed to just burst up. It caused Dwight to end up falling on the ground, while in the original script, the ball deflates really slow, but we're definitely fans of the unexpected version. In another instance, Dwight is really heartbroken because of his breakup with Angela. He's crying on the stairs when Jim comes up and tries to cheer him up. The scene also shows how their friendship has progressed over the years, but then Dwight did something that wasn't in the script to begin with. See the clip and let's see if you can guess what it was. You're probably right, because it surely was the iconic hug that Dwight wanted to give Jim, but he left. The actor added it just so we could see how far the two have come. In addition to all of this, the scene that's actually really hard to watch is where Jim is trying to confess his love to Pam. In the episode Casino Night, Jim finally tries to propose to Pam, and she realizes it. So before he could say anything, she friend zones him. The part where Jim says, "Don't do it," twice was actually not in the original script, and the actor improvised it to make the scene a little more intense, and it did make everyone tear up a little, even after knowing that the two do end up together. In another episode, Michael promises a surprise to everyone at the end of the episode. They inquire about it, but, well, the surprise actually is that one of them must get fired by the end of the day, and Michael had to tell it to them, which turns out to be really hard for him. The original instructions for this scene were that Steve needs to take a pause as long as he can. The actor took it up a notch and did this. The pause ended up being more than 2 minutes long, and Steve even added a bit of excessive crying and sweating, which was never in the script, but made the scene so much better. Andy is another character that gave us some pretty treasured moments, and one of them was when he was inventing his catchphrase. He wasn't planning on saying a phrase like this, and neither was it in the script, but he still went with it anyway, and it ended up being a phrase that his character was known for. Even after Andy gets famous and people are waiting for him outside, the same phrase comes up. This gave a much-needed closure to the audience as they got to see their favourite character in his element one last time. Also, it's not very often that we get to see the documentary staff on the show, but in one particular scene, even the cameraman broke character, which hardly ever happens. The scene was when Jim was hanging out with Pam and is trying to get lucky, but the cameraman is probably coming in his way. Here's what the cameraman does.
Oh, that's so rude of me. Have you seen Pam's new art? It's right there. Check it out.
Yep, you heard it right. He actually sighed, and it was very noticeable. But it was never in the original script, and just happened to be in the final cut by mistake. But now, the Office fans cherish this scene because of its sarcastic sigh. So, which one of these unscripted moments are your favourite from The Office? Let us know in the comments, and thanks for watching.